If the West Asia situation had to be described in two words right now, uneasy, calm. There is calm as of now because the US and Iran have agreed to halt the war and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. In fact, Trump says the US and Iran have reached a tentative peace deal and the signing will be taking place on Friday. It's uneasy because the situation continues to remain precarious, to say the least. So will the calm last, or is the calm before another storm that could drag the region back towards volatility and despair? And the answer hinges on crucial questions that could turn the US-Iran peace deal into ashes. It's an extremely fine line separating the two right now. And before we get to that, here's what you need to know right now. US and Iranian officials say they have reached an agreement to end the war. In fact, US President Donald Trump said the deal includes reopening the Strait of Hormuz, and he has ordered the end of the US blockade of Iranian ports. An MOU is set to be signed on Friday in Switzerland. Over the next few days, West Asia and the world will be watching very closely for any signs that this is temporary relief and uneasy calm before a dangerous storm. First, all eyes will be on Benjamin Netanyahu. Will the Israeli Prime Minister jeopardize the deal? You see, this is a personal test for the Israeli leader, and for him, his political survival depends on the war and the situation overall, with just months to go for the elections in Israel. So as of now, these developments are bound to cause heartburn for the Israeli leader. Let's also tell you more about what's been happening between Donald Trump and Netanyahu. During a wide-ranging interview with the New York Times, Trump has already claimed Netanyahu almost derailed the US-Iran peace talks, calling him a very difficult guy, quote unquote. Trump also asserting that American diplomacy is the only thing securing Israel's survival against its chief regional adversary. And the remarks coming following the announcement of the deal, which also brings us to the Lebanon question. Remember, Lebanon has been a sticking point in the negotiations, a major one, with Iran making a halt to Israeli attacks on Hezbollah a key point of any deal. And Israel reportedly says it will not withdraw from Lebanese territory it has seized and will retaliate if Iran attacks it due to what happens in Lebanon. So a big, bold question mark also remaining over what happens to Iran's nuclear program. Wasn't that among Trump's main goals, among the reasons why this war started in the first place, and the turbulence that followed? Iran and America have both reportedly said negotiations on Iran's nuclear program, a key area of dispute, would take place over 60 days following the signing of the preliminary deal that they have announced to end the war. Both sides have reportedly said that Iran agrees that it will neither produce nor acquire nuclear weapons. But remember, that is a promise that Iran has been making repeatedly for decades. A senior Iranian official has told Reuters that pending a final agreement, Iran would freeze its nuclear activity and refrain from further uranium enrichment or the expansion of nuclear facilities. According to the official, reportedly, the US has agreed that Iran could dilute its stockpile of highly enriched uranium inside Iran under a future comprehensive agreement. And Trump also said, remember, on Saturday earlier, that there was no urgency to extract Iran's stockpile of nuclear material and that the US would retrieve it when all is calm. He also said there would be a strong inspections regime for Iran under any deal. But then what would that look like? There are no specifics as of now. So that's another essential aspect here on which a lot depends. Also, the other key question, how will the deal affect sanctions on Iran? And what about the broader financial impact for Tehran? A lot hinging on how the deal essentially will come into force and what things would look like at the Strait of Hormuz as well. Iran and the US have both said the Strait of Hormuz would start to reopen and the US blockade on Iranian ports start to lift as soon as the MOU is signed. Trump said the Strait of Hormuz would be reopened on Friday and he had ordered the lifting of the blockade on Iranian ports. A senior Iranian official also reportedly saying the strait would be reopened to all commercial vessels once the MOU was signed. So all eyes will be on the Hormuz Strait situation, which remains integral. But that also brings us to the most fundamental question here, with both sides basically saying negotiations on the more difficult further areas of dispute, like Iran's nuclear issue, the US sanctions on Iran, will be conducted over the following 60 days. What will the next 2 months look like for West Asia? Donald Trump has described it as a great deal to end the war with Iran. But how great it really is, will it stand the test of time, are all in the unknown territory right now. And if there is one thing that West Asia cannot afford more of right now, after all that it has endured, it is more uncertainty. Even a single move right now could lead to a collapse of this fragile calm.
To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.